That was a whole...
I wish I knew how to edit to put like mind-blowing explosions happening. Hey guys, so we return with the great multifaceted Gerelle Forbes. If you haven't checked out our first video, you need to go check that out because this will be completely out of context. So here is part 2 of our interview. Hope you enjoy. Feminism is just creating a space for women, giving them opportunities. Like if your daughter, if your cousin, if your mom studying in school, then you're a feminist because you're okay with the fact that they could have an education too.
Yeah, but that's not what feminism is anymore. Ideally, that's what it should be about. And I feel like that's not at all what is happening with feminism. People going and get vexed.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
This is the dangers of feminism. In as much as women are learning to be more empowered and learning to find their own voices and learn what they're feeling, or identify what they're feeling and articulate that, and claim for justice and all the right things that great scripting, great writing. This is the thing about it. You are fueled by some sort of trauma. Something would have happened to you that now you're like, this is wrong, and now I'm going to fight for it to be right. Which still means that as much as you fight for something, you still have to heal from what was done to you. I don't think feminism promotes enough that aspect of it.
Okay.
And so you're putting up a fight for something that when it is presented to you, you don't even know what it looks like. And so you don't even know how to interact with that, how to accept that, because you're still holding on to the wound of what happened to you. That's one part of it. Then there's the other aspect of it where you pretty much become the thing that you now hate. And so you feel like a certain level of bullying happened to you. You don't realize that in your fight, you became the bully. Feminism now is empowering women, but that does not mean to emasculate men. And because I'm looking at it and listening to it and absorbing it like a young girl would. It's almost as if I have to try to be a man. Anything you could do, I could do, bleeding, and whatever boys could do, girls could do. And no. And there's science behind that too. Like Serena Williams, where she was like, I can't play with the men. That's a whole different level of playing. The literal scientific biological setup of male and females, but you're conditioning young girls to pursue being men. And it's almost as if you're telling them there isn't any power in being female. Mm-hmm. It's a different type of power. It's a power that men can't have, don't have. A brethren of mine does tell me straight. He's like, a queen could move anywhere on the board, but she can't be king. Then you could do anything else. Women have a level of flexibility, and not in the physical sense, I mean in all aspects, holistically speaking, that is beyond anything that a man could do. So don't try to tell me that I should aspire to be like the man, or I should work or use the man. No. How about I just work on developing me, and the conversation, the narrative should be accepting feminine power, accepting that and allowing that to coexist with masculine energies as well. That is what feminism should be promoting, but that's not what you get. And so in the bullying or the bully back, or however you want to look at it, now young boys in a very terrible and volatile place. And we're looking at a generation that's going to come up losing their power as well too. The boys, that is. But the girls going to be powerful, and the girls
so it's
not
still
going to
not balanced.
Correct.
And balance is the key at the
Correct.
end. And it's true because, like, again, being in this male-dominated industry and being a keyboardist, and my board is so heavy. People just assume because I'm skinny as look like I'm struggling now, but the board actually is really heavy. So I struggling, and guys, because it's only guys in the band, they would offer. So let me carry that keyboard for you. Nah, I have this.
Why are you doing that?
And I've been doing that for years.
Like I would do it because
and I'm fighting for that equality. And I have that power.
Stop that nonsense.
Well, here's why I had to stop. Because
you damage yourself?
I did damage.
You see?
So what do you say? You drop your budget drop, or what's it? And your womb thing and your hip out of balance.
And you start to feel the pain.
After that, I was like, so when a guy offered to carry my keyboard,
sure.
Go right
Thanks.
ahead.
So if there's an opportunity for me to lift something, I'm not going beyond what I'm capable of,
Okay.
right? So if I'm at a place where, yeah, that real heavy, today's not the day. Gerelle, you want yes? And you don't even have to ask me. I'm going to use my feminine energy.
Yeah.
I'm going to use, sometimes it's a maternal thing to, like when I have my students or whatever, and you have all the young and strong and you're trying to, you trying to show them muscles so them girls and them come. You come and lift up this one, please, thanks. Like,
And they happily do it.
yeah, I remember learning it from a girl. She was calling it soft power. It's still power. The, hard power and soft power. Soft power is still power. Even in like the Orishas, when you talk about like Oshun, it's the same thing. It's the same, that feminine energy. There is power behind it, but we are nurtured and raised to feel as though,
We're supposed to coexist though. They have
Pretty
their
much.
strengths, we have our strengths, weaknesses on both sides, but together we make things happen.
yeah.
And balance is so important.
Which is again, it comes right back to the personal work.
Yeah.
Right through is the personal work. Somebody was saying on Facebook too about your haters and your this and your. I'm like, first of all, I don't understand how people have time to see haters. Because if you so focus on what you're doing and that personal work just takes so much out of you. Oh, you had time to notice somebody hating on you doing.
It comes back to what you were saying before about what people's perspective of you is really not your
Not your business.
Not your business. It's
Not
just
your
not.
business. You know you have your flaws to work on. You know you have your traumas to work on. You know you have your insecurities. 'Cause everybody have those things. Because I did take away that from, remember I told you earlier, a friend of mine made a statement about me seeming so confident like I don't need other people's help. I never want that narrative out. So that was a truth for me to accept. I don't want my students to feel like you could do anything all by yourself. No.
Yeah.
Like you just said, the objective is to coexist.
Yeah.
They talk about it with black women have this superhero complex. It's true. You need to know when to let go.
When
you
to
need to
ask
know
for
when
help.
to stop, when to correct.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean that you're weak or you're small or it has nothing to do with that.
You're legit just human. Because
Yeah.
this is a man-woman thing, it's not even just woman.
And you have fellas
Coexisting.
who willing, It's not like the whole world is full of trash man.
Okay, so as we're talking about real uncomfortable topics, right? Let's talk about female toxicity. And that boss that you mentioned a few times in your radio station that told you to giggle more, talk less.
That was a whole woman, That was a whole woman. That was a whole.
I wish I knew how to edit to put like mind-blowing explosions happening. A woman.
She wasn't even the first one either. We were talking about this earlier, right? So there we go. Like these female groups that claim to be empowering women in business and the professional woman and yada yada yada, and it sounds so nice, and especially when you have the pink decor and everybody gets to do up the face and we get to hire a photographer and we get to post this awesome gallery about it after. And outside of that, nothing.
You do know you're on like a all-female
I get it.
audio thing, right?
I get it.
I want you to explain yourself a bit because you know this is a red topic and people are gonna be like, excuse.
From my experience, most times when somebody comes to me about, I'm doing this all-female thing because we women have to stick together and we this and we that and yada 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 yada. Yeah, we should, but in reality and in practicality, that's not what happens. And so we will form these groups and do these things and have a WhatsApp group, whether it's an actual committee of people that host an event and the same intentions. You want to inspire young girls and you want to, change how the work environment is when it comes to women.
Yeah.
And it's all the same thing. But then when I go back out to work, I'm not saying that. When we interacted in the groups, I'm not saying that. When, let me tell you, your friends is calling names in meeting. I've had exes, whether I'm good with them or not, call my name in meeting. I've had people in the same all women groups act like you don't see the work I'm doing.
Wow, I feel you. So where's that sisterhood then?
The sisterhood is only there for the gimmick of it. You're not even picking up the phone to ask me, I know you say you're doing this business, but I ain't see nothing from you in a while. What going on? What you need help with? And I have placed myself in the position where I am that person. But then you realize being again not back. And so you're exhausting yourself or for helping everybody else. When, the end of the day come, they pick up, okay, thank you. And I think that's a cultural thing. I don't necessarily think it's that women are deliberately trying to be nasty. I just think that most times unaware of the action, we're very focused. So I'm going there, I'm am going to get to there. And then you just don't realize that you're cutting everybody and anything in the way to get to there. How you get to there says a lot about who you are. I have found ways where I can still put out in the things that I believe in. So I've developed this system and I've been able to teach it to my students. So I have this pyramid of responsibilities. I have responsibility to myself first, because if I'm not good, I'm the vehicle that literally have to carry everything. And so if I'm not good, I can help nobody, right? Then responsibility to my family, because they are my immediate support system. Yeah, and then I have responsibility to my community, and then to my country, and then of course to the world. The things that I do with my life must cross off on one of these responsibilities. The conversation of gender-based violence, the conversation of safety for women or for girls or whatever. Of course, that's a conversation I've had to have with my students. Right. And we have had that conversation levels to that. I learned from my parents that parenting is not about protecting, it's preparing. Protection is part of it, but that's not the main thing. I'm preparing my child to go out into the real world and that they can survive without me. Within the group, we've been preparing them. So what is happening now is nothing new to them, but now they get to be a part of the things that we discuss. For example, my students, both the boys and the girls, because the boys had to learn how to read female behavior when they feel unsafe or they feel uncomfortable or they feel threatened. So I now have to teach these girls how to walk the streets. When you feel like something, you don't get small, you get big, you get bold. Stop claiming victimhood. You are not a victim. You actually do have power. Turn and address them. So you feel somebody following you, open up, throw your shoulders back, turn and you watch them dead in the face. Hi, you want to pass? Go ahead. Most times you'd find that if someone is trying to be a threat, they would no longer engage you, because obviously you're now going to become a difficult situation or a difficult case. We literally groom our girls from a very, very early stage to accept victimhood of, you're uncomfortable, just pretend I cannot, so that you don't make everybody else uncomfortable. Yeah. No, Gertrude. No, Gertrude, I'm uncomfortable. I'm saying to you, I'm uncomfortable, right? Like, I'm not one to be in those march and those protests and those wall placard and God, me not time for that. I'm not doing that. However, I am doing my responsibility to my community and my country in my own way.
I want to say you weren't marching, but you were hosting.
I did host the event
for International Women's
Day. So every year they would ask me to host, and I would obviously be like, yeah, sure, because International Women's Day, you feel like I represent something that should stand in front, and I have no issues doing that. I'm going to agree to do it. What do you need from me, right?
And you did an excellent job.
Act on what you believe in through your actions. And your actions don't have to match what everybody or anybody else say it's supposed to be. A few weeks ago, going on Instagram, minding my business, minding Instagram business, and on my timeline, I see one of my students in the middle of a whole protest in front of the embassy with the blowhorn and talking to these people in the savannah and like, stop accepting victimhood, be bold, be brave, be this, big up Rochelle, be whatever. And I'm like,
that's an extension of your voice.
It was crazy. It was a crazy feeling. And so I literally had to stop and process that, because now you have to also be aware, and when you're in positions like we are, and we're always in the public eyesight, more so me on various levels, and the more we succeed and the more our career grows, the more people looking at us, and so everything that you do is now under scrutiny, and everything that you do, people assuming they know what it means, but nobody coming direct to ask you, so what do you mean by that? You know what I mean? Yeah. They're taking their perception and running with it. They're not coming to ask you a question. Again, it comes back to responsibility yourself, the first point. If I know what I'm doing, it will trickle out. It will come. The effects of that will happen. So I don't have to be part of a march. Extensions of me and what I believe already exist in the march. And my student is going to do her part to the people. And I'm sure somebody inside of that would react the same way too, and it would process to them. because we living in such a small space, you cannot do it by yourself. You need people still.
That's an important thing.
I know you can't trust people, and that is a reality. But why you forcing that? You can't fight that. Like I'd be like, nah, Dr. Jesus couldn't trust his brethren. Who is me?
Oh my God.
And then you have people who, worried about, people studying you and people watching all your posts.
Right.
I know people watching my posts and studying. I know it have males and females in the industry who only following me or watching my thing because you're studying and you're taking notes. My headspace is this, by all means, because it means if you see something in me that is better than what you can do and you do it, that means as an industry, it's going to improve. Right? That's one. Two, I am continuously working on myself. So if I stop to pay attention to what you're doing, then I'm not working on myself. I'm not working on my craft. I'm not working on my things, and then I'm just going to plateau eventually.
You're right.
Or go down. So even if you're following me, you could follow. You can't do what I just do. Like I'm that sure in myself, and it comes right back down to the knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And owning and taking and claiming that power. I've had strangers walk up to me and ask, oh my gosh, I think I want to get into hosting. I want to, be a presenter. I will openly tell you, but get into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it may be that something in you will resonate different with people than with me. And that's
There's
fine.
space for everybody.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the flip side to that is when you ask somebody for help and they don't want to help you, it's because they're insecure in their own way. They feel like you're a threat.
Somebody coming at me.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. Listen, it's so serious. I'm still working with people right now who I know business-wise have gone behind my back to clients or did stuff on them real sneaky underneath things. There are people who I am working with right now. I'm telling you that I know they've done certain stuff. Good business is you have something I want, I have something you want. So we both have to have mutual interests in whatever.
Yeah.
But then in instances where people would have done things behind my back business-wise, I have to now go back and be like, what do I want from you or need from you? But then it must be that there's something valuable in you back, and everybody have that balance. Everybody not just bad. You know what I mean? It's not your responsibility to worry about another person's motive. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is yourself. I remember a friend of mine, former co-worker, he's actually like my work husband. Yeah? And he's very objective. He's very logical. Very, very logical. He's one of my favorite people to talk to. And I remember he made a statement once about artists. He's like, oh God, all they done extra emotional already. Or all they extra insecure. I was like, immediately in my mind, oh, what? Oh, yeah, he fly off the handles, thing, whatever. And he's like, but you all are. I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? He's like, normal people, they would have their insecurities and they can exist their entire lives with their insecurities quietly to themselves. You go through the system, you work in 9 to 4, you deal with your family. Nobody had no insecurities. It could show up in your life, but you don't really have to actively put it out there.
Yeah, we do that.
We as artists, however, we'll take our insecurities and be like, oh, I'm going to create something with this. And after I create with this, I'm going to take my creation and stand in front of people. Look, my insecurities. And so we feed ours and share it to people and mold it and manipulate it in ways that, turn it into something else and whatever. And so we feed for more to bloom.
Ooh, that sounds a little toxic, but okay.
But it's not, because everybody have insecurities, and it's not like you could be a perfect human when you overcome insecurities entirely. That does not exist. But we are working through ours. But as you work through, remember, you're not stagnant in life. You're also growing and evolving. Time is evolving as well. Life and society is evolving. And so new things will happen, new circumstances and new situations will happen. And you're going to have new things that you're going to be insecure about. We are artists. We stay working. He rightfully said you feed your insecurities. Another thing that I noticed a lot of men have been saying to me lately, and it's having to walk around eggshells when speaking to me, which I honestly don't mind. At one point I used to be like, oh, that's such a bad thing, wah, wah. Now I'm like, yeah, no, you need to know, once you're addressing me, you gotta come correct, right? So it's like a standard, you know what I mean? And I noticed the word passionate keeps coming up. So but it's where it has come up in your conversations, right? So it's come up almost like a disclaimer. I want to openly say what I want to say, but I'm going to assume that you're going to fly off the handle by me saying it now. And then so I will do a kind of subtle disclaimer and be like, I know you're real passionate about things like that, and passion, and like, oh my God, your passion is so this. And initially I was like, okay, so people can see my passion, okay. And then I realized, wait, context, hold on. You are indirectly saying I'm emotional. That's what you're saying. You're really trying to tell me that. But then when you tell a woman they're emotional, there's an automatic reaction to that, right? So now the new word is, oh my God, he's so passionate. So passionate about this and passionate about that. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I am.
You own it?
But I am. Like, and as a storyteller, I have to be. It's easier that way too, because as much as I produce content and I would write and I would do whatever, I'm a storyteller. Where want me to tell the story from? Where want me to find the roots of it from? That's what people feel off of. That's why art that's what art is. It's an emotion that we can now create into something that my senses can absorb. Whether it's see it, whether it's hear it, whether it's feel it, whatever, that's what art is.
Yeah.
So I can't fake that. Of course it's going to have emotions tied into that.
That is such a great point. I'm learning so much.
I mean,
with you talking.
I do shut up, please.
At the end of it all, we so accustomed nowadays. All right, be safe, you ladies. Look out for each other and stuff like that. Gerelle had something different to say.
I hate that. Like, when you're leaving and you be like, okay, be safe.
Yes.
I hate that. When they say words have power, that's a fact for a person like me whose gift is word. Because that's what I do. I talk. So I have to be very responsible in what I say. And words have power. So I'm very mindful of what I say. Be sure to mean what I say.
All right.
Right? So when we say, like when you're leaving with somebody and we have this thing we say, all right, be safer. More so now in these times. Nothing is irritates me more than be safe, because I stopped and I thought about it. I thought about things that we just say without thinking about them. And yes, the idea behind being safe is wishing someone well. But it's wishing someone well with the expectation that something bad is going to happen. So it's almost like, be safe as you face that dinosaur across there. I don't want to wish that on someone, but I also have no control on what life gives. So instead of manifesting or wishing onto you safety, no, I'm not going to wish onto you safety. How do I now set out the same intention to people, but give them some sort of, because then you're living in fear, and that's feeding fear. And I hate feeding fear. Like, you can feel afraid, but still know, I'm afraid I know, but I'm going so. And there's a level of power, we're back again there. So instead of telling people be safe, for me, I'd be like, all right, walk taller, walk in power. And that's my wrap up, Anything but be safe. Because nothing could happen to you, but I also don't want to call or suggest that something will happen to you or make it, like bring that to your future now. So instead I'm like, whatever you're going to face, walk toward.
So Gerelle said this at the end of the International Women's Day gathering, and since then, that was only a couple days ago?
Last week.
What?
Yeah,
I took Gerelle naps, so I don't know. But I've really been more aware of that, and I loved it. What did they say? They have some saying with that's why they call it spelling, because it's like spells.
Yeah, what you see is like you're casting spells onto people. Correct.
It really does change the way that you feel, because when you said that, walk in power, you're like, yeah, I will walk in power. My shoulders up and I walk in and we strut through borders pain and we felt good.
And in essence, that's what you should want from other people too. And even in it's easy to say it and not feed your mind it. So like affirmations and whatnot. I feed on a lot of culture stuff because that's me. I'm big on culture. And Tricanal helps in a major way. They actually have a song, walk in your power. Like the line is like, walk in your power, walk in your beauty, walk in your power. And you can. And I feel like that resonates so much for women, especially. Men can manifest it too, but I think for women especially, where we are seen first before we were heard or respected. I can claim my beauty. I don't need somebody to offer me compliments or whatever. And you know what? Even if you offer me the compliment, I'm going to take it because I feel like that's a gift from the universe too. It's like somebody's giving you a compliment or somebody, smile now. In my mind, like, Gerelle, what are you doing? Like, why are you not smiling? Separate the part of stop telling me to smile. because yes, we know the intentions of that person when they say stuff like that. But then I have to now ask myself, why am I not smiling?
Right.
Because smiling actually is something that does good for me.
This is all interesting because I'm actually guilty of a lot of the things that you're saying, and it's just really making me reflect a lot on how to change my perspective.
That's the thing. That's like taking back up power. So if I walk in the street and the cat calling thing happening, I will answer back. I could answer back. If it's disrespectful to me, I will answer back disrespectful too. You set the tone of how our conversation going to go down. If you offer me a compliment while I walk in the street, I'll be like, oh, but thanks. I'm going to accept that and I'm going to keep walking because you're not stopping me, you're not affecting me, and you really find that the interactions are much shorter anyhow you take it. Everything that you say, everything that you do, somebody absorbing it. I know that's few people like, oh my god, I do this post and I think I no likes and I think I no views and I think I no nothing. Trust me.
Somebody is always watching. Those 12 views you see on that, somebody.
And inside of that is somebody that like, look at Haley and Chloe, for example. Or any of the YouTubers who would have just gone online and vlog and talk about Beyonce. One of the views in your under 100 views was Beyonce. Look what she did for all these people.
That's what happened?
Correct, yeah.
Damn.
Own your beauty. Own, like when they say walk in your beauty, yeah, you can. I'm female, I know the first thing that you see with me is the pretty face that I have that Judy blessed me with, and I know it's a gorgeous face. Come on now.
Hi, Auntie.
And again, male dominated. I know I have boobs. I know when I come up and like I've always had big boobs, and I've been in that place of, oh my god, they're too big, so maybe I should hide them and squish them down. No, these are mine. I have them. So then when I come and present and I'm looking at you and I see that you are struggling to maintain a focus, that's fine. But I will direct you. I will get you to where you need to be and get you to where you need to focus to. And I've never had any issues with anybody in the industry because, like you said, it is a male-dominated industry. I've never had any issues with people coming up to me or stepping inappropriate. Trust me when I tell you, people know how far they could go with you. Wow. They know how far they could push that. When you walk in that power, walk in that beauty, trust me, people just know where the boundary is and know where to, alright, I can't try my luck there. But also don't let people call your bluff. Because you had to be ready to step up.
Wow.
If somebody decides to be out of time and disrespectful, you also have to defend yourself too. And that's a reality for it. But just like everybody else, men have to do it too. If somebody step up to them, they have to defend themselves. So I have to learn how to do that too. In my way. In my feminine power, in my masculine power, maybe whatever it is, but I still have to defend myself. Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like we got like a little snippet of the kind of things that you do with your community. On that note, thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts and your wisdom and spending the time here and having amazing popcorn.
Hey! She brought popcorn. Which is pretty good. It's done.
It was, yeah, it was full and we totally finished it, but it was really a blessing to have you here and to hear how you think and stuff, and a lot of reflecting on my part to do too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, thanks.
Thank you for having me, and to all the viewers. Bye.
Drink milk. No, wait.
No. What?